If you've been following the Eagles this season, you know it's been a roller coaster, but one of the highlights has been watching Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown making their way toward that 5,000-yard milestone. A.J. Brown is just under 40 yards away, while Devontae Smith is a little farther off, but both are so close it feels like the perfect moment to let them finish what they started. They've had their ups and downs, especially A.J. early in the season, but now everything is clicking at the right time. There's something special about seeing players hit milestones like this, moments where you feel like you're witnessing history in real time. It's not just about stats for stats' sake. It's about recognizing the effort, the consistency, and the resilience that got them here. Watching these two receivers dominate the field, especially on the road to reaching 5,000 yards, reminds you of the legacy that Eagles receivers have tried to build over the years, some who came so close but never quite got there. It's the kind of achievement that deserves celebration because it's about more than numbers. It's about dedication and timing, about finishing strong as a team and as individuals. Moving on from milestones to more heated moments. The controversy around certain plays has been impossible to ignore. Take the so-called Tush push, for example, a play that has sparked debates across fan bases and analysts alike. Some believe it's outdated or ineffective, especially considering how the offensive line has changed over the past seasons. But then you hear from players like Cam Jurgens, who see it differently, defending it as part of the team's identity, a play that has brought success in the past and still holds value when executed correctly. It's a classic clash between tradition and adaptation. The play hasn't been flawless, certainly, with conversion rates dipping and the dynamics shifting as the players evolve. But there's a stubbornness in football to stick with what has worked before. There's also the risk factor. The quarterback is under pressure. The line isn't what it used to be. Injuries have changed the roster. And yet the instinct is often to rely on something familiar, something that once felt unstoppable. That tension between legacy plays and current realities is one of the things that makes football so endlessly fascinating because it's a constant negotiation between past success and present capability. Then there's the drama off the field, which is just as intense. Take the reactions from other teams and their players, like Josh Johnson's comments after a recent game. There's a lot to unpack there because Johnson has spent much of his career as a backup, a journeyman quarterback moving from team to team, rarely in the spotlight. And yet, suddenly, he's making bold statements aimed at one of the league's most established franchises. It's almost surreal watching someone with his career trajectory trying to claim a space in the narrative alongside MVPs and Super Bowl champions. It raises questions about respect, experience, and what it really means to call out elite teams. The Eagles, with their mix of veterans and rising stars, have shown over and over that they don't need to respond to every slight. The reality is that backups and lesser-known players can be dangerous, capable of surprising performances, but there's a line between competitive energy and overstepping. And Johnson, in this instance, seemed to cross it, not fully appreciating the history, the skill level, or the context of the team he was addressing. It's a reminder that in the NFL, reputation and performance aren't always aligned, and words carry weight, especially when aimed at teams that have consistently performed to the highest levels. Shifting focus back to the field, watching the Eagles' offense maneuver through these tactical decisions has been fascinating. Cam Jurgens and the offensive line have faced scrutiny, with plays like the Tush push coming under the microscope. There's a clear understanding that the play isn't as dominant as it once was, and adjustments are necessary to protect players while still moving the chains. Observing the coordination between the line, the quarterback, and the running backs is like watching a complex puzzle being solved in real time. The physicality, the split-second decisions, and the trust required make it one of the most intense aspects of the game. Fans often see only the result, the yard gained or lost, but the preparation, communication, and split-second judgment calls are what make each play a microcosm of the team's strategy and skill. Watching Jurgens navigate these challenges, seeing him push for execution while dealing with the limitations of injuries and evolving team dynamics, gives insight into why football is as much a mental game as it is physical. Every decision, every play call, every adjustment carries consequences that ripple across the entire game. Offensive plays like the ones involving Saquon Barkley or Tank Bigsby demonstrate the balance between tradition and creativity. Handing the ball off, reading the defense, deciding when to pass, when to run, and when to innovate. It's all a dance of risk and reward. Some fans want the flashiest plays, the spectacular moments that make highlight reels. But there's a quiet brilliance in effective, well-executed fundamentals. Watching Barkley slice through the defense, seeing the line open lanes at precisely the right time, is as thrilling as any trick play. And yet, the discussion around these plays, the debates over whether to continue running certain strategies or adapt to the team's current strengths, remains a hot topic among fans, analysts, and players themselves. It highlights the complexity of the game and the constant evolution required to stay competitive. Football is never static. It demands constant learning, adjustment, and awareness of both your own team and your opponents. The conversation around milestones, tactical decisions, and player dynamics is inseparable from fan engagement. Fans watching the Eagles are invested not just in the outcome of games, but in the stories of players, the evolution of strategies, and the debates that spark after every play. The 5,000-yard chase, the debates over the Tush push, the reactions from opposing players. All these elements combine to create a season full of narratives that keep fans emotionally and intellectually engaged. There's an energy in following a team where every yard, every decision, and every comment matters. It's a reminder that football is more than a game. It's a layered experience that connects the team, the players, and the fans in a shared journey across the season. The Eagles' journey this year illustrates that balance perfectly. Watching DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown push toward their personal milestones while the team navigates controversial plays shows the intertwining of individual achievement and collective strategy. On the other hand, dealing with external comments, unexpected challenges, and the constant evolution of tactics underscores the resilience required at every level of the organization. Fans witness these layers unfold, gaining insight into the pressures, the triumphs, and the debates that define professional football. It's not just about what happens on Sunday. It's about understanding why it happens, who drives it, and how the team adapts in real time. Shifting the focus from team dynamics and individual milestones to league-wide discussions, one of the most frustrating aspects for fans this season has been watching how Pro Bowl selections are handled. Take Quan Mitchell, for instance. The man has been playing at an elite level, shutting down plays, dominating his matchups, and showing a consistency that few can match. And yet, when the fan voting comes out, he isn't even in the top 10. It's a glaring example of how the Pro Bowl has shifted from a true measure of excellence into something far more superficial, driven less by performance and more by popularity and casual recognition. The game itself, once a showcase of elite talent battling head-to-head, has morphed into a safer, almost sanitized version. Players are no longer expected to put themselves at real risk. It's more about maintaining appearances, participating in flag football versions of the game, and protecting contracts and sponsorships than actually playing at full intensity. It's a stark contrast to the Pro Bowls of the early 2000s and even into the 2010s, where players took hits, made big plays, and fans witnessed moments of pure football magic, the kind of intensity that defined careers and left lasting impressions. What makes the current system even more frustrating is the fan influence. In theory, it sounds democratic. Fans get to have a say in who gets honored. In practice, it often means that casual fans, those who watch highlights and follow popular names rather than in-depth gameplay, end up skewing the results. Quan Mitchell, despite being one of the top defenders in the league, gets overlooked because casual voters aren't tracking the subtle nuances of his play. They aren't seeing how quarterbacks are avoiding throwing his way, how his coverage is forcing mistakes, or how his presence alone shifts offensive schemes. Instead, votes go to big names, to those who generate buzz or who have media narratives pushing them forward, regardless of whether their season truly merits recognition. Lane Johnson being voted in as a top offensive lineman this year is a perfect example. He's been injured for large portions of the season, yet the casual recognition persists because of reputation and name recognition rather than current performance. It's a system that increasingly favors optics over substance, and for fans who follow every snap, every defensive adjustment, and every quarterback matchup, it's frustrating to watch real talent get undervalued. The evolution of the Pro Bowl voting process also speaks to a larger shift in how the league balances fan engagement with professional integrity. Expert analysts, journalists, and individuals who follow the game closely can usually identify who truly deserves recognition, and these selections often end up being reflected in All-Pro honors, where performance is measured more rigorously. The contrast between Pro Bowl selections and All-Pro recognition highlights the tension between popularity contests and merit-based acknowledgement. When experts are the primary decision-makers, awards tend to align more closely with on-field excellence. When casual fans dominate voting, the results often feel disconnected from reality. The Pro Bowl has become a spectacle rather than a meaningful accolade, a reflection of the celebrity culture surrounding the NFL more than the actual achievements on the field. This trend frustrates dedicated fans who want recognition for players like Quan Minshew, who impact games quietly yet profoundly, shifting strategies and dictating outcomes in ways that casual observers may not even notice. Beyond the voting system, there's a deeper conversation about respect and perception. Players like Minshew, who consistently deliver at a high level, often face an uphill battle for recognition simply because their style of play doesn't generate viral moments. It's not flashy. It's methodical, intelligent, and fundamentally sound. Meanwhile, quarterbacks who throw a couple of interceptions or big-name stars on the offensive line might dominate casual attention because their reputation precedes them or because highlight reels favor their moments. The result is a skewed perception of value, one that separates fan admiration from the actual contribution to team success. This phenomenon also fuels debates about how fans engage with the league, what metrics matter to them, and whether the system truly rewards excellence or simply reinforces existing narratives. It's an ongoing tension that underscores how much the culture of football has changed. And while fan involvement is intended to create a sense of connection and community, it often ends up highlighting the disconnect between casual spectators and dedicated followers. Many casual fans vote based on familiarity rather than analysis, on headlines rather than game film, and on personality rather than performance. The cumulative effect is a system where deserving players get overlooked while less impactful players receive accolades they might not fully deserve. For someone like Minshew, whose impact is measurable but subtle, it can feel like the system is stacked against him. The frustration extends beyond the player to the fans who understand the game's intricacies, those who notice every coverage adjustment, every defensive shift, and every moment where a player's presence changes the dynamics of the game. It's a reminder that sometimes the loudest voices aren't the most informed, and in the world of Pro Bowl voting, that imbalance becomes painfully clear. What makes this situation even more poignant is the contrast between how milestones, like the 5,000 yards for receivers, are celebrated with clarity and recognition, versus how crucial defensive work or nuanced performance often goes unnoticed in fan-driven systems. There's a narrative about offensive achievements that is easy for casual fans to digest and cheer for, while defensive excellence requires deeper understanding and attention to detail. Minshew exemplifies this challenge because his work alters how offenses operate, limiting options, forcing mistakes, and creating opportunities for teammates. These contributions are foundational to the team's success, but can be invisible to those who only follow box scores or highlights. It's the kind of recognition gap that fuels debates, not just about Pro Bowl voting, but about how the league values different types of impact on the game. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Shockwaves are reportedly reverberating through the Philadelphia Eagles locker room after a heated altercation allegedly involving defensive coordinator VIC Fangio. Sources close to the team claim that tensions boiled over during what was described as a fiery confrontation between Fangio and one of the team's starters, culminating in the veteran coach allegedly declaring, He is out of here. While the identity of the player has not been officially confirmed, insiders suggest that this decision could have major ripple effects for the Eagles' defensive unit moving forward. VIC Fangio, who earned a reputation as one of the NFL's most meticulous defensive minds during his tenure as head coach of the Denver Broncos from 2019 to 2021, is no stranger to high-pressure situations. Known for his disciplined approach and demand for accountability, Fangio's coaching style has often been described as exacting yet fair. However, this latest incident hints at the possibility that even his typically composed demeanor may have limits, especially when it comes to locker room chemistry and on-field performance expectations. The timing of the alleged confrontation has fueled speculation about internal conflicts within the Eagles' defense. Analysts point out that Fangio's defensive schemes rely heavily on cohesion, communication, and trust among his players. A sudden shakeup in the starting lineup could force the team to adapt quickly, potentially reshaping both their short-term strategy and long-term defensive plans. Industry insiders note that such abrupt decisions, while dramatic, are not unheard of in the NFL, where egos, expectations, and the pressure to win can sometimes collide in unexpected ways. Fans and commentators alike have begun debating what this means for the Eagles' locker room culture. Some argue that Fangio's willingness to make tough calls demonstrates strong leadership and a zero-tolerance approach to dissent, while others worry that sidelining a key player midseason could undermine morale and destabilize team dynamics. Social media has already erupted with speculation, theories, and insider gossip, highlighting the intense scrutiny that professional football coaches face when controversies emerge. If true, this incident could mark a turning point for both Fangio and the Eagles' defensive unit. Observers are watching closely to see whether this decision signals a temporary disciplinary action or a permanent shift in the roster. As of now, the Eagles organization has remained tight-lipped, leaving fans and media alike to piece together the story from whispers, rumors, and the unmistakable tension that seems to have gripped one of the league's most scrutinized defensive masterminds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.